Welcome everybody. Consistent with section 7.4 second A of the Local Government Act 1993 and current public health order, this meeting of Liverpool Plains Shire Council is being live streamed to Council's website. A webcast of this meeting will be published to Council's website at www.liverpoolplains.newsouthwales.gov.au so that it is available for viewing by members of the public. I'll now do the acknowledgement of country and council prayer. Today we gather on the land, pardon me. Today we gather on the land of the Kamilaroi Nation. We therefore need to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of this land. We also pay our respects to the Aboriginal elders, both past and present, and further extend that respect to other adults who have joined us today. Council prayer. Lord, we ask that you watch over this council, guide us in our deliberations and decisions for the betterment of all the people of our Shire and Australia. Thank you. Item 2, apologies and applications for leave of absence by councillors. The one leave of absence from Councillor Terry Cohen be received and accepted. Do I have a mover? Move Councillor Cohen, second Councillor Moles.
Councillor Carroll, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Carroll. Councillor Carroll. And seconded by Councillor Moles. Did you wish to say anything on that, Councillor Carroll? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 3, confirmation of minutes. 3.1, minutes of the council meeting held on the 23rd of November 2022. The recommendation at Council 1 that the minutes of the council meeting held on the 23rd of November 2022 be received and the recommendations therein be adopted. Do I have a mover? Councillor Allen, seconder. Councillor Lawson, did you wish to speak with Councillor Allen?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 4, disclosures of interests. Nil disclosures of interest were made. Item 5, the mayoral minute. 5.1, the mayoral minute for November 2022. I will move the mayoral minute and receive and note the mayoral minute, and I wish to move this report. I have a seconder. Councillor Allen. I don't wish to add anything to that. Anyone wish to ask anything on that mayoral minute? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6, inward correspondence and petitions, nil. Item 7, reports to council. 7.1, executive services report for November 2022. The recommendation that Council 1 receive and note the executive services report for November 2022. Do I have a mover? Councillor Moles, seconded Councillor Lawson. Did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Moles?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.2, Australia Day Awards and Selection Team and Councillor Nominations. The recommendation that Council 1 endorse the selection team for the Australia Day Awards to consist of 2 councillors, 2 council staff, the current Citizen of the Year and the current Young Citizen of the Year, and 2, nominate the councillor. So you want the councillors in here now? Is there someone willing to go on that?
I'd like to nominate Jason Allen.
Jason Allen, you happy for that nomination, Jason? Or Councillor Allen?
Yeah.
Councillor Allen, the second councillor? The second councillor, Councillor Lawson?
Councillor Cohen, if he's not here.
Go ahead.
Can we nominate Councillor Cohen if he's not here?
Yes, you can, it's just that he can't refuse or accept.
Just on his acceptance, Councillor Cohen on his acceptance.
So is everyone happy for councillor Cohen to go there?
Unless you wanted it.
No.
Don't tell him, Bill.
So that's all we need. The two nominated councillors are councillor Allen and councillor Cohen. I have a mover for that. Councillor Wynne, seconder. Councillor Lawson, did you wish to speak to it, councillor Wynne? Anyone else wishing to speak for or against that? If not, I'll put the motion. Sorry, councillor Lawson.
I was just going to say, I think that it does give a good cross-section, having two members of staff and also including the previous citizen year, if that's just, I think it's a good idea.
Thanks, councillor Lawson. Councillor Miles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to draw attention to my comments, the Monday briefing session in regards to this report being quite repetitive, and if it could be looked at and have to present it in the future. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Miles. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.3, resolutions register update for December 2022. The recommendation that Council 1 receive and note the resolution register as at 7th of December 2022, appended at Annexure A. Do I have a mover? Councillor Cudmore, seconder. Councillor Lawson, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Cudmore?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.4, adoption of schedule of ordinary meetings for 2023. The recommendation that Council 1 adopt the draft schedule of ordinary meetings for 2023, appended at Annexure A, pursuant to section 365 of the Local Government Act 1993 and clause 3.1 of the Code of Meeting Practice. 2, request the General Manager to provide public notice of the time, date and location of each scheduled ordinary meeting to be held in 2023 pursuant to section 9 of the Local Government Act 1993 and clause 3.3 of the Code of Meeting Practice. Have a mover. Councillor Miles, seconded. Councillor Lawson. Did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Miles?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Following discussions in our briefing session on Monday, I'd just like to put forward that I think we should be having a meeting in January. There's no meeting scheduled for January, and it was suggested the 18th of January. And this is for us to be updated on the Australia Day Awards. Might be required to do as councillors. Also a reminder that I'm not available for the March meeting. And I question Anzac Day was down, there's a meeting down for Anzac Day, 25th of April. And the latter one, the 27th of September, it was suggested that we might hold that on the 20th of September. So I just draw those notations to all the councillors. Thank you.
You wish to finalise that now or wait?
Mr. Mayor,
Councillor Lawson. Sorry.
perhaps we can deal with that by amending Annexure A for this motion, including the changes that we did discuss at the workshop on Monday, which were to include a January meeting, and to move the meeting on Wednesday the 25th of April, and also to move the meeting on Wednesday the 27th of September to the week prior. I don't know if you still have the date that we discussed to replace the 25th of April.
Is that you're proposing an amendment to that
Yes,
motion?
yes, that we amended the Annexure A as per the discussions that I believe that they were taken down on Monday.
Happy to accept the amendments, Mr. Mayor.
So that would be an amendment. Yeah, it is an amendment to the motion.
I move that we make those changes.
So Councillor Wilson's moved that amendment, and Councillor Miles has seconded.
Councillor Miles.
Mr Mayor, as the mover of the motion, when an amendment is made after I've spoken to it, it's generally put to the mover, and I move that we do accept those amendments.
Yes.
So it just continues on with those amendments, Mr Mayor. Thank you.
We have a seconder. Yeah, okay, well, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Item 7.4. That was the one there. My apologies. Item 7.5. Corporate and Community Services Directorate Report for November 2022. The recommendation that Council 1 receive and note the Corporate and Community Services Directorate briefing for November 2022 as detailed in this report. Do I have a move? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Cudmore, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just to note the minutes that we presented from the Calabubula Local Advisory Group and the Local Advisory Group, and that we will respond to those, and we've noted their requests.
Thanks, Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Miles.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to draw attention to page 52. I'd like council to go and find out what all relevant council consultation processes are that are required by the local advisory group, Greenwood Local Advisory Group. It's in the minutes. Again, I mentioned on Monday that I thought the groups were set up to get the community's ideas on moving forward and to prioritise those ideas and present them to council. I didn't think it was the other way around, where council presented issues to a local advisory group to get their thoughts on it. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Miles. That's noted. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.6, Annual Code of Conduct Complaints, Stats Return for 2022. The recommendation that Council 1 receive and note the Annual Code of Conduct Complaints, Stats Return for 21-22, appended at NHRA. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, seconder. Councillor Allen, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
No question.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.7, presentation of audited financial statements and auditors' report for 2021-2022. The recommendation that Council 1 note the presentation of the audited financial statements for the year ended the 30th of June 2022 and the independent auditor's report contained at NHRA to the public pursuant to section 419(1) of the Local Government Act 1993. Do I have a mover?
Yeah, thank you.
You want to do that before that's moved?
Yeah.
Sorry, Councillor Lawson, that's just a presentation. Before we go to
Sorry, I thought it meant to Bridget.
He's fine. This person. Oh, he was there. He was there first time. Straight me.
Catherine, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, thank you.
Hi.
Hi, so this is Catherine, as you're probably already aware, the audit. So thank you for accommodating my earlier scheduling meeting. Okay, so we're just dealing with the report on the conduct of audit, is my understanding.
Yes.
Sorry, it's my first one, so, you know. Okay, so as you would be aware, council received an unmodified audit opinion. No issues with general purpose or special purpose. Everything went through eventually. After a bit of a delay, but that's okay, we've got there. So there's some significant issues that have gone from, in your management letter this year, which were to do with procurement and information technology policies. These matters went to a high risk due to the nature of the fact that they've been there for 3 years already, and this was the 4th year the matters have been raised. So the procurement is, which is similar in all small councils, but it's just a risk issue that needs to be addressed. So, and which is the same employees were raising invoices and then also authorising the purchase orders. Okay. And then there's purchase orders that are also raised after invoice dates. So, and then with the information technology, it's just that you've got some IT policies and procedures that have not been fully adopted yet. So they're just going through the process. You've actually done a lot of work, we acknowledge, over the last 3 years to reduce those management letter points. I understand that your risks, where you had to address the bigger, higher risks for yourselves first. Okay, so then we move to the income statement. So your operating results show that your rates and annual charges revenue went up by 7.3%. Your grants and contributions revenue also went up by 7.6%. So this then actually provided you with a operating result for continuing operations, an increase of 320.5%. Once you take out the grants, capital grants and contributions, your operating result was negative at 5.9 mil, but that's actually an improvement of 36.6% on the prior year. So, and that, from what we understand and what we've worked out in discussion with council, and that is that you've really been working to address by increasing your rents with your SRB and that, and also then trying to reduce the expenditure. That's helping your bottom line overall. So then we move into the, sorry, was there any questions on anything there at this stage?
Any questions? No, you're fine. Keep
Alright, so your statements of cash flow then, you will see that your cash from operating activities increased by 62 mil, and that's, 6.2 mil, I've read it right, and that was due to an increased grant and contributions received during the year. And then your cash outflows for investing increased by 11.1 mil due to the high capital expenditure on your infrastructure, property, plant and equipment. And basically your financing activities were comparable to prior years, no major changes there. So within your financial position, your cash and investments, so as you will see that your cash has decreased overall, but I'm pretty sure you'd be aware that that's mainly due to tying up and finishing your starting the Cube Poly water project, so that's using a fair bit of cash for you in that. Then there was also, as you would be aware, your internal restrictions decreasing from the prior year, and that's because you didn't actually allocate any of your financial grant assistance monies this year, which is not required to be allocated, so that's, yeah, you can use it however you like. Okay, so then we have then performance measures. And these ratios were pretty consistent for 20 and 21, improved for 22. And your own source operating revenue ratio again, you didn't meet the benchmark this year, which is the 60 cent, and that was due to the increase in the contributions you received. But your unrestricted cash ratio actually exceeded the OLG benchmark, so and that was another big improvement on last year. And that was specific to local government, that ratio, so that you can actually meet your short-term obligations as they fall due. And then you've got a debt service cover ratio which improved again, and that's because your debt actually has been decreasing and you've got a very small debt through your prepayment. The other ones then are your rates and annual charges, your outstanding percentage. That's actually decreased below the benchmark, so that's actually a good way to be. You wanted that to be lower than the benchmark of 10%, and you're sitting at 7.8% at the moment. So that means that you don't have as many debtors outstanding for rates. So your cash expense cover ratio has decreased on the prior year, but overall still remains quite high. at 12.7 times. So any issues on, or any questions on those ratios? I know I've brushed through the deal, but
Councillor Miles?
Yes, thank you. I did actually wonder if maybe in the report, we could look at comparisons with other councils within the Group 10, because even though we're not meeting some of these benchmarks, my understanding is that it's right across the board in local government, so it would just be nice to have something like that within the report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
okay. Because it's just your report back to council, they don't actually do a comparative there. I'm not sure, Joanna, do they do comparatives outside through the OLG at all? Alan?
Yeah, we have actually completed some comparatives. So as part of the LG Analyzer, part of the software they do, but it's obviously running around about 18 months old. So we have actually completed some of the more current ratios and to benchmark against our Group 10 councils, and we can certainly provide that to the councils. Yeah, and what they're actually showing is that we are moving well and truly up moving up to where we should be. Obviously our operating performance ratio is still quite poor, but we have obviously made massive improvements in that. Every other benchmark we are around the middle of all Group 10 councils, so we are certainly operating in line with what other councils are doing in the Group 10, which is the rural space.
I'll just add a couple of things. Joanna has sent through some information to me that I'll provide to the council shortly, but it certainly does show that over the last little while we have moved, depending on the ratios that you're looking at, we've certainly improved our performance compared to those councils in that region. So we'll provide information against, I think it's about 12 to 15 councils when you get this comparative data. And what you will see is, yeah, where we were in some cases, either right at the lower end of that scale, we're certainly moving up towards the middle and continuing to improve.
Thank you.
So I think we were second to the bottom in the Group 10 councils in 2019, and we're now about 10 or 11 out of the group councils. So we've moved up from second to bottom to in the top 50%, if you want to put it that. So that's an improvement.
Yeah, I know that there's been improvements from your end. I just don't know how to compare them for you. But that's good. Okay, and so the other part of the letter is just that we do note is that your IPP&E, infrastructure, property, plant and equipment renewal expenditure was 8.9 million this year, and that actually decreased by 605,000 as council was required to complete other projects during the year. So you can keep all that grant funding occurring. Okay, and it was below, the renewal expenditure actually was below the depreciation by 4.1 mil this year. And in the report there is no legislative compliance issues to report, so yeah, that's the end of the report then.
Thank you.
There is.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
That's okay. Thank you. Continue.
Thanks, Catherine.
I guess I should start that again, shouldn't I? Okay, so item 7.7, President. Did we second? No, we got halfway through it. Okay, so item 7.7, presentation of audited financial statements and auditors report 2021-2022. Recommendation that council note the presentation of the audited financial statements for the year ended 30th of June 2022, an independent auditor's report contained in Annexure A to the public pursuant to section 419(1) of the Local Government Act 1993. Who was the mover? Do we have a new mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder? Councillor Cudmore, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to thank Joanne Will, our Chief Financial Officer, and all the staff involved in the preparation of these financial statements for audit. It's obviously a massive job, and thank you for making sure that was all done and completed.
Thanks, Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.8, statement of investments for November 2022. Recommendation that council receive and note the statement of investments as at the 30th of November 2022. Do I have a mover? Councillor Allen, a seconder. Councillor Wynne, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Allen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.9, HR monthly report. The recommendation that council receive and note the HR monthly report. Do I have a mover? Councillor Cudmore, a seconder. Councillor Moles, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Cudmore?
I know that you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Moles?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to draw attention again to discussions on Monday. I haven't seen a HR report for a short while. And reading through the report, there's nothing in this report about the relevant high turnover of staff. It's pleasing to see there are 10 positions being advertised, and that's across the board, not just in local government, but in health, aged care, hospitality. So we're not on our own in that position. And I did ask that perhaps in the future we might have a detailed report in regards to the outgoing and incoming staff, keeping in mind, of course, their confidentiality and who manages this role, which is, of course, the GM, not council. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Moles. That's noted. If there's no other speakers for or against the motion, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.10, swimming pool users' fees.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move a motion in relation to this business item.
Yeah.
The motion I propose is that council, 1, approve Corindi Swimming Club's request to waive the 2021 and 2022 Corindi pool user fee. 2, rescind the adopted user fees for the Werris Creek Swimming Club. 3, introduce the following categories for Werris Creek Swimming Club for Werris Creek pool use. A, lane hire, non-exclusive use of the pool during standard opening hours of $4 per hour. A maximum of 3 lanes are not to be booked at any one time in the pool unless the full hire of the pool has been approved. B, pool hire exclusive use, $60 per hour, minimum of 3 hours. 4, work towards a suitable solution to maintain the operation of the solar heating system at Werris Creek Memorial Swimming Pool and to implement suitable procedures to ensure the cleanliness and safety of the facilities. So that's the motion that I wish to move.
For a seconder for that?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
So that's moved by, the new motion will read, 1, that council one that council, oh, you're on, mate, will you turn it off, your microphone?
Sorry.
The new motion will read, one, that council approve the Corindai Swimming Club's request to waiver the 2000, is this Corindai or Werris Creek? Why am I reading Corindai?
Mr Mayor, the first part of the motion relates to the Corindai Swimming Club request to waiver the fees for 2021-2022, which was the previous season.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so the new motion will read, one, that approve the Corindai Swimming Club's request to waiver the 2021-22 Corindai pool user fee. 2, rescind the adopted user fees for Werris Creek Swimming Club. 3, introduce the following categories for Werris Creek Swimming Club for Werris Creek pool use. A, lane hire, non-exclusive use of pool during standard opening hours, $4 per hour. Maximum of 3 lanes only can be booked at any one time in the pool unless the full hire of the pool has been approved. B, pool hire exclusive use of $60 per hour, minimum of 3 hours. 4, work towards a suitable solution to maintain the operation of the solar heating system at the Werris Creek Memorial Swimming Pool and to implement suitable procedures to ensure the cleanliness and safety of the facilities. That's moved by Councillor Lawson and seconded by Councillor Miles. Yeah. Yes?
So these changes were to just allow the problem that was presented in the letter from Werris Creek Swimming Club around usage of 3 lanes for their club line, to allow that to take place, and on a similar price to what they have now, but with some flexibility, and also to, as far as the Corindai Swimming Club's request to waiver the 2021-2022 pool user fee, because they did not receive that fee until after they set their member fees in the prior season. They did not budget for that, so I think that, yes, that, we should allow for that. But going forward, we don't have them paying anyone for this year and going forward.
Thanks, Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? I'll declare that carried. Item 7.11, Infrastructure and Environmental Services Directorate Report for December 2022. The recommendation that Council 1 receive and note the Infrastructure and Environmental Services Directorate Report for the month of December 2022 as detailed in this report. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Allen, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.12, tender number T242223, Nemoy, tender for the supply of delivery of bulk bitumen emulsion. The recommendation that Council approve tenders received from Bitchapave Limited, Booral Asphalt, New South Wales, ACB Downer, EDI Works Proprietary Limited, and Fulton Hogan Industries Proprietary Limited for the supply of delivery of bulk bitumen emulsion for the period 1st of January 23 to 31st of December 24. 2, that provision be allowed for a 12-month contract extension based on satisfactory supplier performance till the 31st of December 2025. I have a mover. Councillor Cudmore, seconder. Councillor Lawson, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Cudmore?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. 7.13, proposal to establish a return and earn facility in Werris Creek. The recommendation that Council 1 approve the establishment of an over-the-counter return and earn facility at Werris Creek Waste Transfer Station. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Allen, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. It's good to see that, whereas Creek and surrounds will have access to the facility. Previously it's worked quite well at Quendo. I'd just like to note, as we were told at the workshop on Monday, that this isn't, in place of the machine that, we have failed to find a suitable location for in Quendo. It was already in the process to have this particular facility go into Werris Creek.
Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak? Councillor Allen?
Just want to say that and congratulate Miranda Recycling for the continued employment of local people within the Shire Council. It's great to see that a local company is still continuing to maintain and employ people in the community. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Allen. If there's no more speakers for and against the motion, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.14, RFT 052-2022 Plains Fitness Upgrade. The recommendation that Council 1 reject all tenders submitted for RFT 052-2022. 2, invite fresh tenders pursuant to clause 167 of the Local Government Act, bracketed General Regulation 2021. Do I have a mover? Councillor Allen, a seconder. Councillor Lawson, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Allen?
Oh, thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Lawson?
Just to say that hopefully this, inviting fresh tenders will give us some results and we'll be able to work to get that project. It's a very worthy project done.
Thanks, Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak? Councillor Miles?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not actually against the resolution, however, I don't believe the resolution is full enough. Under the evaluation criteria, and looking at what the tenders have come in, there's no way this work is going to be done, no matter how many times we re-tender it. There's nothing in this document that we're approving and going down the path of re-tendering that shows us what we're going to drop off or what we're going to ask the tenderer to do. So I just have a bit of concern about re-tendering as it is written here and having the same result and having this project delayed. So that's where my concern is, Mr. Mayor.
And did you wish to speak to it? Thanks, Councillor Miles. If there's no other speakers for or against, I'll put the motion. Sorry, Councillor Lawson.
Am I able to speak again or have I already spoken?
No, you've already spoken. No other speakers, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.15. RFT 053-2022 Milman Parade Clubhouse. The recommendation 1, reject all tenders submitted for RFT 053-2022. 2, invite fresh tenders pursuant to clause 167 of the Local Government Act, bracketed General Regulation 2021. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Allen, did you second? No. Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you second? Yeah. Did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
I had similar concerns with this project to what Councillor Miles was referring to in the last motion, in that can this scope of works be achieved for the budget that's been given to it? However, I do note from the workshop that we had on Monday that there is already a priority list for works to be completed, and if we cannot get close to the budget with those works, that there is a priority list to achieve that within the budget that we have.
Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Wynne, did you wish to speak?
Yes, thank you. I was just wondering, wouldn't it be less expensive to demolish the whole building and start again instead of repairing everything? It's a very, very, very old building. Very old.
I don't think, I don't think that's up for debate, Councillor Wynne. I think what we've got in front of us is this motion. So that'd be something for later on. But that's not in this motion.
Okay.
No other speakers for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.16, tender 054/2022, LPSC wastewater mains relining program for 23-24. The recommendation that Council 1 award the contract for tender 054/2022, LPSC wastewater mains relining program 2023-2024 to Interflow Proprietary Limited for the value of $1,388,487. Do I have a mover? Councillor Cudmore. A seconder. Councillor Moles. Did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Cudmore?
No legal, Mr Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.17, Town Water Supply Status Update. The recommendation that Council 1 receive and note the water supply status report. Councillor Moles, a seconder. Councillor Allen. Did you wish to speak, Councillor Moles?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.18, Queepolly Water Project Construction Progress Report. The recommendation that Council 1 receive and note this month's progress of the Queepolly Water Project's design and construction phases. Do I have a mover? Councillor Allen, a seconder. Councillor Wynne, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Allen?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.19, Draft Liverpool Plains Section 7.12 Contribution Plan. The recommendation that Council 1 accept the draft amendments to the Liverpool Plains Section 7.12 Contribution Plan 2019. 2. Place the draft Liverpool Plains Section 7.12 Contribution Plan 2022 as amended on public exhibition. Do I have a mover? Councillor Moles, a seconder. Councillor Cudmore, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Moles?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor. All my questions were answered on Monday, thank you.
Any other speakers for or against the motion? Councillor Lawson.
Just to say that the public can make submissions on this draft and that they'll be considered by council again. So if they would like to have a look through what those projects are and any other part of the draft and make a submission, please do so.
Thanks, Councillor Lawson. If there's no other speakers for or against the motion, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 8, Delegates Report. Bill. 9, Notices of Motions, Questions with Notice. 9.1, Notice of Motion, Changes to School Bus Route and Installation of Bus Bay at Greenlight Public School. The recommendation that Council 1 support the proposed changes in principle to the school bus route and crossing service for Greenlight Public School to improve the safety of students, staff and community members as shown in Annexure A. 2, liaise with the relevant state and community organisations to facilitate the changes. 3, request a further report to council regarding potential options for external funding for necessary infrastructure changes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Allen, do you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
Thank you, Mr. Yes, this has come about because it's been brought to my attention by the school community and by the principal of Greenville Public School. There's concerns around the safety of movement of students. That's particularly school pickup time. There is a lot of parent pickups now compared to previous years, and we have a situation where the buses are turning onto, in particular, Nowland Avenue. There is a lot of pedestrian students, both primary and high school, coming from the high school side. Buses and cars all being funneled into the one position there, which is causing safety concerns, which I've personally seen myself. The idea behind this is to move the buses down to the quieter end of Munro Street where there is more room, provide a bus bay there, and effectively separate the parent pickup zone and have it in one area rather than split with the buses coming in the middle of that. And also, part of that is to put a pedestrian crossing across down that street to provide clarity of where children are to cross, either if they're coming south from primary school or north from high school, because at the moment I've witnessed myself, kids tend to run across there, and there is a lot of traffic, so it's a real safety concern that I hope this motion can address. Obviously, this is support in principle from the council, just to go forward, liaising with the appropriate authorities, by Transport for New South Wales. So that's all I'm looking forward in the stage of this motion. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? That's carried. Item 9.1, notice of motion changes, that's already done. Item 10, confidential matters. Recommendation that council considers 2 confidential reports, bracketed S, one being the mayoral minute, in a meeting closed to the public in accordance with section 10A, bracketed 2 of the Local Government Act 1993. These matters are considered to be confidential under section 10A, bracketed 2, bracketed A of the Local Government Act, and the council is satisfied that discussion of these matters in an open council meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with personal matters concerning particular individuals other than councillors. Do I have a move up for that? Councillor Allen, seconded by Councillor Cutmore. Those in favour? Carried.
All this